Yeah, Group A, I think, in my personal opinion, is the one group with so much spice in it, right? There's so many things going on.
Whereas Group B, the one have already lost to Mind Freak in the past.
Yes.
And then you've got Leftovers, Tempest, Heroes Hearth, and
Yeah.
Dignitas. Good luck, the one. Sorry, but I don't...
Yeah, that was actually the one thing I was also not agreeing with Moonprayer there. I don't think Mind Freak is necessarily worse than Luna Meow, and not even worse than the Chinese team sometimes.
Wait, he put Mind Freak lower than Luna Meow?
Yes, he did. He put them last place.
I don't remember that. Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for game number 2, and Ddung have opted for first pick, first ban. The map is going to be Towers of Doom.
Yes, Towers of Doom, my favorite map to commentate and watch as a viewer for sure. There's so many cool things that you can do on this map. Once again, a pretty macro-heavy map, though. You need to make a lot of good decisions, especially in the late game when core health drops low. There's so much psychological pressure onto you. Like, do we have all the things we need? How many shots do we need? Can we take the boss? Mercenaries, we need to take them under control. There's so many things you have to pay attention to at the same time.
Exactly. So we'll see which team's able to take the advantage there. Ddung already banning out the Maiev here. Are they going to fall into that trap and ban out Genji again? No. This time it is Mephisto who is removed.
And that is an interesting one. Mephisto, we haven't really seen him all that much in HGC yet, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be picked much more in the future. He's just such a chaos maker, such a mayhem master next to Junkrat, of course. You know, he goes in, you think you have him, but then he pops back because of his E ability. The Lightning Nova is so distracting. Personally, I don't like playing against Mephisto.
He got some changes, I think, in the most recent patch, didn't he? Like moving a little bit of his damage away from his consumed souls. So there's some adjustments being made there, which might make him a little bit more... I mean, I personally quite like him as a hero. I like just going full CDR build, including the ultimate CDR, and just spamming consumed souls, because I'm that guy. But we'll see how he plays after his changes. For now, once again, Beckett Kane coming in for Supernova, and we have the Hanzo coming in as well, this time on their side.
Yeah, Hanzo coming through on Supernova's side. Certainly a nice hero to play on this map too, because there's a lot of terrain that, you know, the scatter shots can get value from. The Rainer this time mirroring each other, I think. Rainer this time coming through for Ddung, and looks like in terms of, you know, ranged basic attackers, ranged assassins, Hanzo and Rainer are reigning supreme up to this point. Back to Mephisto real quick, Tetcher. You know, you mentioned that recent balance update that we've received, and Consume Souls was a little nerfed, you know, and some of the other aspects were a little nerfed, but Durance of Hate, it was actually buffed. A shorter cooldown now, I believe.
Q were buffed, right?
Sorry?
Durance and Q were buffed, right?
I think so too, yeah. And there's now a 60-second cooldown on Durance of Hate, and I've seen it a lot more frequently in Master Hero League on Europe.
I've been hit by it a lot.
Yeah, at 20, it's so strong because it silences you as well.
I mean, I've been struggling with sleep due to just trying to get my body clock back online, so I've only been playing quick match to not ruin people's ranked games, and I've been hit by it a lot, so it's been fun as we see a Phoenix and a Garrosh coming in very sensibly, not going with a Nubrak already banned out. They choose to go for the Garrosh, which is a fantastic reaction to Diablo.
You know, we've talked about this many times in the past. The interaction between Diablo and Garrosh can be very, very tricky, because just when Diablo's Shadow charges in, if Garrosh doesn't get stunned himself, if he uses the Indomitable, he can actually deceive Diablo quite a bit. He can throw him back, and with that Indomitable, you can't even Shadow charge back. So as long as the target is unstoppable, you can't hit it. You can't go back to safety.
Very true, but we're finishing up the draft. Ddung with an Ana Lee Ming composition. I love these compositions, so good to see them here. And on the other side, at full Supernova, a Malthael coming in against this double tank composition. And it gives a potential for a large amount of AoE. Come on with that volume. Gives potential for a large amount of AoE, which can give Ana some real problems. I believe, once again, we are pre the Ana Q Pierces patch, which means we're also pre a patch which I'm very excited about, aka the 1 second diabolical momentum cooldown reduction.
Oh,
My build I've been talking about for a while might exist even more. Hooray!
That is true. And Ana, of course, unfortunately, also not in her final form yet. The healing darts won't pierce in this version of the game yet, but it's going to do that in the future. So I'm pretty sure more Ana at BlizzCon 100%.
And ladies and gentlemen, it is time for game number 2 in the South Korean Crucible for HGC. With Supernova, our Pro Division team currently up 1-0. Ddung, our Open Division team, looking to make the comeback with this Ana Lee Ming composition.
Yeah, and that is very scary. Once you drop a good nano boost in someone like Malthael or Hanzo, Decker, Kane, anyone but Garrosh finds themselves in a bad position, isolated from one another. That is where the resets could really skyrocket through. So they need to pull it off in the first place. And when you have such a, reset-dependent composition, the worst thing that could happen to you is fall behind in the early game, right? The same counts for heroes like Kerrigan, like Illidan, who are very dependent on getting a good early game. So Ddung needs to be super focused not to give away an experience lead in the early game.
And they do have that global, like you said, so this will help them out at least a little bit as the game goes on. However, look at that, on a pale horse for Malthael, which, may I say, looks hilarious on a Treasure Goblin. I have not seen that combo before.
Gives him a good whip, run faster!
But it gives him a better bit of extra rotational opportunity himself, so he's going to be able to make up a lot of XP for his team as the game goes on.
I mean, I can't blame the Treasure Goblin. I would probably also run a little faster when Death itself was riding me. So, definitely a cool thing to see here. But yeah, Mercenaries are being started by Ddung. And there looks to be an invade coming in from Haven. But he got the wrong target, unfortunately, and thus can't pursue his endeavor.
Camp is taken, though. They're going to meet just on Ddung's side of the map, so the question is how quickly can Supernova get this clear going. Maybe they can try and actually force them into range. They're even bringing Garrosh down here, but the positioning advantage looks to be in favor of Ddung here, where they're going to be able to clear a little quicker.
All right, Kirisaku trying to get that mercenary camp in there, and that's the cool thing about Malthael. He is probably next to Yrel, whom we haven't seen at all, actually, in this game up to this point. Probably next to Yrel, the strongest sustaining solo laner. The Haka is pretty good in that regard as well, but of course, eventually he's going to lose the trade out because of that consistent sapping and draining coming in from Malthael. So he can do this mercenary camp relatively uncontestedly. There are no ganks to be happening anytime soon. Good vision was there for Supernova, so very solid, very passive start for both teams. No kills are going down just yet.
Airstrike coming in for Ana here, of course, giving her that extra fire grenade cooldown reduction. This is the main reason this talent is picked up. Just getting that reduced CDR, so it's extra healing for your team, it's extra healing reduction for the enemy team more consistently. The range can be used for poke, but that's
for interrupting
really the
altars
less important bit. Exactly. It's the reason we'd see Hurricane picked so often for Sonya back in the day, and still a lot these days. It's not for the root reduction, it's for the cooldown reduction, which means more whirlwinds and more survivability.
All right, the altars have spawned. Hero actually picks up their own one, which basically makes this bottom half of the map completely naked. Yep, that's what we're talking about, the long distance interrupt and poke. But yeah, without Li Ming, they can't even hope to contest this. So Ddung is playing this exceptionally slow, almost a little too slow in my opinion.
Well, they choose to give up the 2 for 1, but they don't actually gain any XP from this. As no chat was staying around, so was Malthael. So yeah, I agree. This is interesting. They don't actually get much value from that trade out. You can see XP-wise, they're completely even. What do they get from that?
So the thing is, maybe the thought process was that they have a couple of heroes who scale relatively well into the late game because either they need stacks or they just have a couple of nice talents coming online later. One of those heroes would be Raynor, I think, especially after level 10, he becomes significantly more powerful. And also Ana, you know, maybe she just wants to accumulate a couple more sleeping dart stacks before they really, really want to commit to any major team fights.
Quite possibly. But now, though, we're seeing once again sap camps being picked up by both teams. With Malthael and Dahaka still just chilling in the top lane, doing solo laner things. Who knows what's going on up there? As we see a fair amount of damage dropped onto H82, who was flipped in, but he's just committed to this. Dahaka coming in as well, a fantastic kill onto Deckard Kane with that anti-healing grenade, and even dropping the debilitating dart at level 7 onto him just in case.
Yeah, that was an amazing takedown here for Ddung, and exactly on the right target too. Decker Kane, he doesn't really have a lot of mobility. The only thing he has is 10 armor and a couple of potions to keep himself alive, and when there's no allies nearby, he's gonna have neither. So yeah, really good anti-healing grenade, as you said. There is a little bit of anti-healing available on both sides though. Touch of Death now online for Malthael as well. So both supports are gonna have to be in their tippy toes on when they use their focus healing.
Emeralds 2 coming in for Deckard Kane. 2 anti-heals available for Supernova. Only 1 for Ddung. Only 1 potentially available as well. We won't see any extra. So we see got Kimchi channeling his own side. Looks like he's not going to be contested, and we just see a standard 1-for-1.
Yeah, anti-healing is such an interesting mechanic in the game right now, and you can really see how more and more heroes, especially supports, hold that thought. Phoenix in trouble, anti-healing, and Hero is exploding on that Li Ming yet again. Gets another kill, and the reset immediately. Ddung, looks like they've woken up, Tetcher.
Diablo certainly good for this style of play. Rotation, if you find someone, then they better hope they have an escape route, because if not, that's going to be quick pickups every single time. Diablo going in once again. But with the Haka already missing his drag, they're unable to pick up the kill.
Yeah, back to the thought I was trying to make earlier with that anti-healing mechanic. I mean, it is debatable whether it's super fun to play against, but it's certainly an interesting mechanic, especially when it comes to watching some of the newer heroes being introduced to the game. Like Mal'Ganis here, I have that guy in mind. I know he's looming in the horizon, he's not even in the game yet, but if you've seen his Hold That Thought, Hero is down, and that is a good pickup, but he's going to have so much self-sustain. There are other heroes like Irel as well. Like all these solo laners right now who rely so much on self-sustain, they can be shut down really well by anti-healing. So I wonder if that's going to be a trend to be pursued in the future, or if it's just going to be a couple of heroes to have it as a speciality.
Level 10 is hit here. Like I said, I don't think we'll be seeing too many more anti-heal mechanics very soon. But we will have to wait and see. For now, with level 10s online for both teams, last rites coming in for that Malthael, not going for the full AoE build. Ddung waiting for their pick on Diablo, actually. Very interesting here. With down a boost of 4. Li Ming, Dragon Arrow onto Rainer.
On the Rainer, the Tornado, the Lornado also coming through here. Diablo bashing Malthael into the wall. Here comes a big lightning breath, hitting the entirety of Supernova, and they're forced to retreat Haven, though. I don't think there's anyone left for him to run. And a 2-for-1, 2-for-0 trade, actually. My apologies for Ddung.
Everyone channeled into that beautiful choke point, and Diablo just turns around and unleashes hell onto the members of Supernova, and that is going to be the altar going over eventually to Ddung.
Yeah, they have a lot of long-distance interrupt here. Look at Hanzo shooting off his Sonic arrow there. Not too bad. Not done yet?
Oh, not anymore. Range minion too. No, minion. Okay, they finally get it. Range minion is distracted, and that's going to be enough for Ddung to pick up the altar.
Find me a support that cares so much about you as Kimchi does about Crow, man. Even intercepting the minion, attracting all the attention onto herself. Wonderfully done.
Nicely done indeed, as they head back into lanes with both Sapper camps already stolen away. Nothing available to be picked up here by Ddung. They just have to keep soaking, as finally they've got themselves an XP lead. Yeah,
XP lead, and they even out the core score, which is very good for them as well, of course. So Ddung, you know, after a crushing defeat in Game 1, they really managed to get their act together to not let it affect themselves too much. A triple Dragon's Arrow, though, with a stun.
Nano boost online though, leaving, looking for a kill. Can't find one though. Finally gets the reset. But Supernova have already picked up a kill of their own. Li Ming just out of range on Malthael, unable to pick up the kill. Hero, little bit unlucky there, unable to find his targets.
Yeah, in the moment we tried to give a little bit of praise to Ddung for, you know, stabilizing themselves and not letting this crushing defeat get to themselves too much. They suffer a little bit of a setback here, but still nothing too drastic. They were able to get a counter kill as well onto Garrosh. Experience wise, they're still pretty much evened out, so yeah, they just need to be careful not to repeat this kind of situation here. Heroic abilities are going to be on cooldown for the most part on Supernova, which is pretty important, but I think before the altars spawn, or just when the altars spawn, they're all going to be back live online.
Yeah, Hanzo's going to be the closest. The only thing that won't be up will be Salvo.
True.
Whereas Ddung, they will have everything up. So it's a question of how long can Supernova delay. If they want this salvo up, they're going to have to delay for at least another 25 seconds, which is doable.
Yeah, it's doable with Hanzo. We've seen how much interrupts he's got going on for himself. Malthael, by the way, channeling. Very important that Hanzo doesn't channel here, for example, just in the case of them trying to intercept or interrupt. But both teams now taking a short breather. I thought even leading the charge. Dragon's Arrow coming through.
Gets two. Li Ming's on the other side, though. Double Tor. Raiders getting destroyed here. Anti-healing prevents this trade. And with that, a double kill is picked up here. Nicely done. Grabbing Diablo as well.
Oh, a nice arcane orb, though, from over the wall here. But that was a master class of how to initiate as a Garrosh. Good target selection there. Beautiful follow-up as well, especially Tetcher. Those Hanzo Dragon's Arrows coming in from Bentham, man. So much work is done with those every single time they connect.
Yeah, Bentham has really put his team on his back with these Dragon Arrows, like you said, and this time able to get two members and give Garrosh the opportunity to get to Reyna instead of being stuck on Diablo like he has been in the last two fights was really, really clutch play. Positioning needs to be changed by Ddung to avoid that.
Yeah, Lornado trying to maybe catch an enemy hero who was unaware and not paying attention, but Ddung stabilizing here for a little bit. But so good news for Ddung. They have a couple of heroes like Li Ming and Reyna who are fairly good at taking down those structures back, right? Bad news, they also have to pay attention to heroes like Garrosh who are very good at defending those. One misstep and a Garrosh combo can actually knock you back into bell tower range. So they just need to find those abilities. They need to find... Oh, that was a good dodge on the Dragon's Arrow. A little too overambitious there.
The attempt was made. They would have been able to potentially pick up a kill if it had landed. These are sometimes the risks you have to take with Dragon Arrow. It's got a minute cooldown. It's one of the few abilities you can really just throw out there.
Yeah, especially when that bottom bell tower is in your control, right? Because there's no way that Ddung can actually contest the bottom half altar right now unless they overextend. So they should get two altars Supernova, that is, or at least one, and then contest the other. 24 to 19 right now. The Banshee scouts and gets destroyed, though. That is a long cooldown.
Yeah, Ddung grabbed their own top side. Are they going to keep trying to contest ball? Airdrop's going to be too late, so we're going to see Supernova grabbing the 5 shots.
Yeah, and that Tetcher is really starting to hurt, man. 10 shots this early into the game before level 16 hits. That is quite the blow here. 21 to 14. Malthael, of course, on a pale horse, riding back to top lane immediately. Dahaka can't even get split push value done. Can't even get a sneaky tower or two to catch up on XP.
So with that, Hanzo grabbing some sappers while they still control bot lane. This might even result in a little bit of extra core pressure, especially as he's going for a second and he has Dragon Arrow back. So they can try and use this double sapper, this forced defense they're trying to make Ddung do, to get a Dragon Arrow engage. You can see Hanzo rotates around. The sappers are going to be pretty close to sync, a little bit, couple seconds in between. When's that Dragon Arrow coming in? There it is. No camera, please. We're going back. Diablo turns it round, trying to make the play, and is tanking through and will survive.
Oh, a friendly toss on that Zapper minion. Basically causes another shot to the core here. Garrosh actually has to give his life in the process, but I think that was a worthy sacrifice. They couldn't have defended this until the end of time anyways. Eventually, that long-distance poke from Li Ming and Reyna would have probably taken it. So at least they take a little bit of value from it.
With that, Ddung, with that kill, they're able to re-grab bottom bell tower with the next altar spawning in middle. They are only, doing some maths in my head, 8 points behind Supernova right now. That's two altars. That's doable. One bell tower and one altar and a boss. This is absolutely doable for them, and they're on even talents. In fact, they're even ahead in experience right now, but only for a little bit.
That is true, and I think we see quite the difference when it comes to, the overall efficiency and impact of the Dahaka when you compare this game. Oh, Li Ming dropping the hammer hero. Nice kill.
Li Ming with Virable suddenly online. And we're going to see that nano boost getting dropped. It's still on cooldown, in fact. Dahaka getting forced forward, going into the fray to keep the Malthael alive, but Garrosh might not be so lucky. Diablo gets the shield, he drops the torch, trying to force Diablo out of position. Diablo lightning grasp, but can't pick off Malthael.
Two heroic abilities were used in panic mode here, I feel, for Ddung. The question is, was it still enough to scare Supernova away? Or are they still going to try to make a play here? No interrupts ready, so okay. Oh! No way, Hanzo, you monster. That scatter was super useful, super good there. That's probably going to be the last of them. Yes.
It was, and they get the channel here. Shots go into the core, and now they're only 4 shots behind Supernova.
Yeah, normally a nano boost on a target that is sitting at 10% health is not the best use of it. So I think Ana was a little panicking there to maybe enable something or allow Li Ming to escape. But yeah, normally you want to use it at the beginning of a team fight when Li Ming is in good shape so that she can dive in, go aggressively onto the combo. Diablo in trouble.
He eats so much damage from the salvo, but the Diabolical Shield keeps him alive for the moment. The Soul Shield, Dahaka not so lucky though. With Diablo down, he was the immediate target and got just shut down.
Yeah, that is the worst time for Ddung to lose their frontline Tetra. Look at this. The Sappers are already charging in through the bottom. The second mercenary camp is going to be taken by Supernova as well. That is going to be a lot of siege damage here. The question is, can Ddung kill some of the mercenaries before they actually connect? Is it even going to matter? The Dragons here on 2 members. Beautiful combo.
Oh, with the stunning wrecking ball, the rough landing, they pick up the kill, but now Li Ming with nano boost is turning it up. She's looking for the second kill. Can she get it? Garrosh tanking through. He stays alive.
Haven refuses to go down there with good juking and nice dodging on the Li Ming abilities here. Hero, he really tried to get that kill and enable another reset chain, but it was not meant to be this time.
Oh man, Haven, like you said, he was remembering his 5Ds there, able to keep himself out of the death zone and stay alive for his team. He's healed up at the fountain and he is ready for the next fight.
All right, man. 16 seconds until Ana will be back in the fray. Of course, there are the tunnels available, but all the altars are quite far away from it. And also, look at the positioning. Look at the posture from Supernova. They've got everything under control. They don't even need to invade this because they're going to trade 5 shots for 3. And that means that this core on the side of Ddung will go down to 8. They're now getting slowly but surely in lethal range Tetra. 1 altar, 1 boss, 2 altars. The game's going to be over.
Dragon Arrow onto Diablo, knock up, taunt, and get absolutely destroyed. Picture perfect kill by Supernova.
And that was so well done. So here's how Garrosh used that combo, right? He used his Groundbreaker to get close, then he taunted, waited until his teammates destroyed all the minions, and then he tossed in, because otherwise the chances that a minion would have taken the toss place instead of Diablo were quite high. So it's just safe to say, in my opinion, that Bentham and Haven on Garrosh and Hanzo are carrying this team super hard right now.
With that boss going down, 4 health remaining on the core of Ddung. The next altar is going to be a singular altar in the middle spawn area.
Ooh.
This is a nightmare for Ddung. With only 4 health left on the core, this is lethal. They need a bell tower, or they need a team wipe, or at least enough kills to begin making a comeback. Because right now, every single objective, except for the bosses, is lethal.
They're with their backs against the wall, but there is a little ray of hope shining through Tetra. That is level 20. They don't have to fight up a talent, so they have access to level 20s such as Duskwing for the Rainer. The Blink on Diablo is going to help him so much now if he ends up getting caught again by Garrosh and Hanzo. So there is an escape mechanism right now, a panic button for them to use, and Ddung. The only big disadvantage they have is that the fact that they weren't there enough. Look at this setting up here. Supernova controls the territory, they control the location, and they control the tunnel there as well.
Dr. Spine arrives, waiting for his opportunity. He immediately gets stunned by Bullseye and leaves.
Yeah. Bullseye is there. Gives them a little bit of an easier time to stun people and, of course, provide vision. Duskwing is scouting there as well, the Raider. Super good at that.
Death Curtain being a bit of a pain. Dr. Spine and Hero is dealing so much damage. Stop walking into that area. The same result keeps happening. As we sit, you know the definition of insanity? Dr. Spine backs up, finally going to get healed up by Ana. Dragon Arrow is dodged this time. Immediate lightning grab for the turnaround as Crow looks to rush forward, tries to get onto
and
someone.
This healing.
But disengaging so fast.
Yeah, and look at the potions there. Look at the flasks. They will constantly respawn as well. So as long as Supernova stays close to the Deckard potions, they can always heal back up. Ddung, though, they need to make a desperation move. They need to contest this. Here comes the grenade, the airdrop, the Haka slow double taunt.
Double taunts! That is huge. HGC trying to turn around, trying to get anything for his team. Hero with the nano boost picks up one. Needs to turn around and look for more. Looks from the other side though, but Hanzo's
Hero
already
against
dodging.
the world.
While we see with Malthael trying to turn in. Good interrupt using that repulsion. Teleports over the wall. H82, he can't get into range. They need to get onto Kira. They can't do it. That is GG. And Supernova go up 2-0.
Wow, that front line of Ddung just got melted there, Tetcher. Only Diablo survived with a sliver of health. He was doing the right things there, H82, but with the health pool he had left, he couldn't go for any more reckless plays. And Hero, it just feels so tragic almost. He played a wonderful game on that Li Ming, carrying super hard, carrying as hard as he can. But even the resets weren't enough to bring his team to victory.
Given that game from Hero on that Li Ming and that previous game from him on Hanzo, I want to make a statement that if he doesn't make it in now, if they don't manage to pull off the kill against Supernova, then I would love to see him get picked up. Hero is so good.
Yeah, what a guy. I mean, this guy has a lot of experience. We mentioned this before. He was member of Team Ace early 2018, so he did have his chance to play in the Pro Division. But once again, he's making a strong claim for himself, right? That if there were to be some roster changes after BlizzCon, of course, that one of the teams may, you know, look at him and maybe like, you know what, we need a good ranged assassin. Let's get him in here because he looks amazing. Can't really say the rest about Team Ddung, though. They look a little shaky, especially the frontliners are not having a good time because especially, I mean, that Hanzo was just nasty.
He really was. He was just causing so much damage at that last fight. The bottomless flask at the end there that was basically an inassailable position.
That guy.
I hated that. I hated that that Ddung weren't the aggressors there.
Yeah.
You're playing into bottomless flasks and you're getting poked down. Which one do you think is going to come out on top there?
Exactly. You need to make sure that you are the team engaging into this. Otherwise, they're always going to out-sustain you, right? With all those flasks, as you said. But ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going on a short break here after Game 2. There will be more games to come. It's a best of 7, so teams need 4 wins to make this Pro Division spot there. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a bit.